Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Kayce Dutton's CBS spinoff justifies those divisive Yellowstone Season 5 flashbacks. Kayce Dutton's Luke Grimes CBS spinoff explains one of the most disliked elements of Yellowstone Season 5. Its divisive flashbacks to before John Dutton's Kevin Costner death. The final chapter of Taylor Sheridan's original neo-Western show was riddled with controversy over John Dutton IE's death due to Kevin Costner's Yellowstone exit. The Dances with Wolves star didn't return to the series when the involved parties failed to reach a working agreement. The divisive Yellowstone Season 5 flashbacks showed life before John's death, confusing viewers as they witnessed Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, unfold without him. Yellowstone Season 5's flashbacks showed Kayce, Beth, Kelly Riley, and the Dutton Ranch hands before John's death. A common piece of feedback was that the flashbacks wasted previous time in the series' final chapter, homing in on trivial moments when there were more serious matters at hand for the Dutton family tree. In terms of divisive Yellowstone Season 5 elements, I could have done without the cameos of Taylor Sheridan, but the flashbacks didn't bother me so much because I interpreted them as a lens into the show's future, rather than a view into the Yellowstone Season 5 characters' past. After watching Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 10, The Apocalypse of Change, I distinctly remember thinking that Taylor Sheridan had just set up continuations for both Kayce and Beth, independent of one another. In the chapter, Kayce settles into East Camp with his family, redoing the floors, cabinets, and roof of the Dutton family lodge with Tate, Brecken Merrill, and Monica, Kelsey Asbill. While I agree the flashbacks in The Apocalypse of Change felt trivial, I also understood showing Kayce and Beth's lives before their father died, since Season 5 would have shown how John's kids' lives were developing independent of him. Kayce and Beth's stories would continue after John Dutton's death, so it made sense to me to have Yellowstone moments that weren't about John. Since losing the Dutton's patriarch was paramount to his family once it happened, I assumed flashing back was to show us simpler times. Ahead of Yellowstone Season 5's finale, Taylor Sheridan announced a Beth and Rip Yellowstone spinoff starring Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser. Then, ahead of 1923 Season 2's finale, Kayce's Yellowstone continuation was announced. Therefore, the flashbacks help us understand how their lives were developing outside John's death, contextualizing Kayce and Beth's Yellowstone continuations. Kayce Dutton's story in Yellowstone Season 5 also gives us hints about what his continuation will be about. Kayce's Yellowstone spinoff will reportedly be a CBS procedural. Therefore, it will revolve around some aspect of investigation or law enforcement. Kayce's spinoff could follow him as the livestock commissioner for Montana. Kayce solved compelling crimes while working in the position, and that could translate into a procedural. That said, Kayce threw away his livestock agent badge in Yellowstone Season 5's finale, saying he was free from the position that was traditionally used to protect the Dutton Ranch. I also believe that Kayce's present timeline in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 1, set up his continuation. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 3, A Tall Drink of Water, Kayce talks to Thomas Rainwater, Gil Birmingham, and Mo brings plenty on his porch. He tells them he wants to trade his livestock job for a policing gig for the Broken Rock Reservation. And Mo answers by saying Kayce could be appointed the investigator for the Montana Department of Justice. Yellowstone Season 5 never follows up on the development, but Taylor Sheridan could be saving Kayce's new job for his procedural. When the flashbacks started coming fast and heavy in Yellowstone Season 5, fans were divided. Some welcomed the richer character backstories, while others felt yanked out of the current-day ranch drama. But now, with CBS's new spinoff centered around Kayce Dutton in full swing, those once controversial scenes have suddenly transformed from indulgent detours to essential storytelling. And perhaps most fascinating of all, They were laying the groundwork for Kayce's next chapter all along. It's not unusual for Yellowstone to play the long game. Taylor Sheridan, the master architect behind the Dutton Empire, has a penchant for slow-burn payoffs, hidden symbolism, and emotional nuance buried under a gritty Western veneer. Still, even his biggest fans were scratching their heads during Season 5 as flashbacks of a younger Kayce training under John, losing himself in the Navy SEALs, and battling inner demons took up large chunks of screen time. Many wondered, why now? Why this deep dive into Kayce's past when the Duttons are literally at war with half of Montana? But with CBS's Kayce, Blood and Soil, everything clicks. The new series, set several years after the events of Yellowstone, follows Kayce Dutton as he tries to forge a new life, one not tied to his family's cursed legacy. He's left the Yellowstone ranch, left the livestock commissioner role, and even distanced himself from John Dutton's crumbling dynasty. What we get instead is a quieter, more introspective Kayce, a man burdened by memory, constantly haunted by choices we now understand in vivid detail thanks to those Season 5 flashbacks. In Episode 2 of Blood and Soil, we see Kayce driving through the Utah desert, on his way to track a missing Native teenager. It's a job that blends his law enforcement past with his newfound connection to the Broken Rock community, something that became a core theme in Season 5's memory sequences. As the sun sets, his face catches in the rearview mirror, and for a moment, we flash back, not to the past, but to Season 5's flashbacks themselves. It's meta, it's bold, and it's brilliant. Suddenly, the flashback of Kayce being initiated into a secret ritual at Broken Rock, complete with firelight, chants, and a vision quest, isn't just a random detour. It's the turning point that defines his current mission, his identity, his future. CBS has effectively taken what some critics called narrative filler and reframed it as the very bones of Kayce's spiritual rebirth. That vision from Season 5, the one where Kayce saw two paths, wasn't metaphorical. It was prophecy. One path led him deeper into his father's legacy, into the brutal protection of Yellowstone Ranch. The other path, it brought him here, to Blood and Soil, a world where he's trying to live by a different code. Not John Dutton's, not even the law's, but one that blends honor, truth, and indigenous teachings. In hindsight, those Season 5 flashbacks were laying the foundation for Kayce's arc in ways we just couldn't see at the time. They weren't about nostalgia or padding the runtime. They were blueprints. Take, for example, the recurring memory of Kayce wrestling with a young colt at the training pens. At first, it felt like a filler scene, a metaphor for taming wildness, maybe. But in Blood and Soil, Episode 4, we see Kayce in a near-identical moment, but with a troubled teenage boy instead of a horse. The parallel is crystal clear. This isn't about control. It's about trust, connection, and earning respect without breaking spirit. And what about that mysterious flashback to his time as a Navy SEAL? The one where he's captured, bloodied, and forced to make an impossible choice. In the moment, it felt jarring, even gratuitous. But Blood and Soil reveals that one decision shaped Kayce's entire approach to life and justice. A choice that haunts him still, coloring how he handles conflict in the present. Now, when he refuses to draw his gun too quickly or spares a dangerous fugitive, it's not weakness, it's trauma-informed restraint. Perhaps the most poignant payoff comes from Monica's side of things. In Season 5, we saw several intimate flashbacks to her early days with Kayce, moments of laughter, pain, and fleeting peace. At the time, they felt oddly placed amid the political chaos brewing on the ranch. But Blood and Soil recontextualizes them as Kayce's emotional lifeline. Monica doesn't appear in every episode, but her presence lingers. She's the reason he left, the one he's trying to deserve. And those quiet flashbacks, they're his memories, not just ours.